art of genius, the 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 art of the art of genius.
What's up, everyone? You're watching The Art of Genius, and this is William Woods. No, there's not anything wrong with your computer or your cell phone or your TV screen or whatever it is you're watching this episode from. I actually intended to record this episode in black and white for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, being a creative myself, even going back to drawing and rendering and things like that, most of us that can relate to an illustrator's lifestyle know that you always start with a white, in most cases, blank sheet of paper, and then you end up rendering in grayscale, you know. So consider this episode, this is the start. This is the actual planned start, you know. But then from another standpoint, I wanted to do this episode in black and white and stuff because as a photographer, you know, anyone who's a career photographer, in some cases even a hobbyist, but for the most part, if you're a professional photographer, you know, not only can you shoot in color, but we like to challenge ourselves to shoot in black and white. It allows you to capture the image in its purest essence, you know. You capture the textures, you capture the detail, you capture the lighting, so on and so forth. So for the most part, that's the reason why I wanted to do this episode in black and white. You know, I wanted to capture the art of genius in its purest form. This is where we start. You know, even if you come down to, as a creator, most ideas start on paper, in some cases even a napkin, and so on and so forth. But it ends up becoming like a black and white sketch or a grayscale sketch. If you're an animator and stuff, you put that sketch on white paper and stuff, and usually use some kind of colored pencil-like media and stuff to lay your idea down. But either way, it ends up being just like line art, you know. Now, of course, I'm not going as far as loading everything up with effects this early in the game and stuff like that because I want to get the idea out there first. But either way, there's a purpose to this episode being in black and white. All right, so where are we starting? Let's start from what is genius. Now, give you a little bit of background and stuff that even gives you an idea of why I'm able to have a series like this besides just, damn it, I wanted to do it and stuff. I taught design and art and photography and multimedia, with filmmaking included, for various colleges for 16 years. You know, one thing that I really enjoyed about being in the classroom, you know, and to add to it, no, I taught college for 15 years and then taught in overlapped with teaching in grammar school and then that made it 16 years that I was teaching. So 15 years college, 2 years teaching in grammar school, and then part of the overlap, you know, between 2016 and 2018. 2 years in the grade school classroom, and then overlapped 16 into 17 was teaching college, and then going all the way back to 2002. So that's wrapping it up. And then on top of that, teaching is just part of it. But one of the things I always enjoyed about being in the classroom, especially with a classroom full of creatives and stuff, is helping someone embrace their genius. Now, I'm going to take something I used to always teach in class or speak on in class, and yes, you can definitely say teaching and stuff, and put it into this episode. This is where we're starting. I want you to, as a viewer, as a subscriber, as a follower of The Art of Genius, I want you to do just that. I want you to embrace the fact that genius is an art. Not because there's a bunch of people and stuff that look at it and say, man, I wish I could do that. Man, you a genius. Nah. Sometimes that word gets thrown around too loosely. What I like to get people to embrace when they were they was in my classroom, I always like getting someone to see how they interpreted something totally different than even myself as the instructor when I gave the assignment out, I say, man, I didn't even think about it like that. You know, that's a great job. You almost guaranteed yourself an A. So not only was that empowering on the students' part, but at the same time, it made them say, man, there's a reason to come back to this class, because one, I didn't even realize that I was smart enough to even go through this whole college curriculum thing. And here it is, I have this teacher that's telling me that I'm a genius. Not used to hearing that throughout my school career and so on and so forth. You know, not through grammar school, not through high school, not through college and things like that. Now I'm hearing it in college. Well, not only would I use it as a term of empowerment, but it also was meant to show the student that their brain was perfectly wired for just them. I used to give assignments and stuff like you had to create your own logo. And I would give you the subject, but then the only thing I would give you would be the name of the company or the name of the entity. Well, then you had some people that would look at it and say, okay, cliche, the company is called Top Down Entertainment or something like that. So what they would do is have a car with the convertible. Okay. Then you'd always have that small group of students that would take the wording and say top down. They would do something creative with the wording, you know. And then me looking at it, I would say, you know what? I didn't even realize that the words top down could be converted like that, you know. Did you realize what you was doing? Most times a student would be like, no, I didn't even think that. I was just being creative. Do you realize what you're doing is something that's genius? Genius is not something that comes to everyone. Genius is a trait that more than likely is attached to a craft or some type of action that you know how to do only like you. For some people, it's how they interpret the arts or how they contribute to the arts. Some people, it's just how they think, period. You know, because how they think, that's the catalyst of everything they say, everything they create, everything they do, everything that they want. You know, it's based on how they think. So I want you to, as a person in the audience, and hopefully you're going to end up being a long-time follower. That's all I'm shooting for, is a long-time follower, a long-time audience member. I want you to embrace your genius. Don't think that I'm talking about like entertainment. Entertainment will have you thinking that anyone is a genius, and that's not always true. Most of the things that we see on our TV screens and now the internet and web series and things like that, you see people being associated with being geniuses, but they have a serious team behind them. Someone's giving them that idea. No, I want you from this grassroots, grayscale, black and white, no color, no tainting of the brightness and the contrast. I want you to look at yourself at your barest essence, your purest image form, and see that you are a genius. I had to realize the same thing. You know, I almost fell into the trap. Let's get personal with William Woods, the host of The Art of Genius. I almost fell into the trap of being labeled as a genius had to come from the outward admiration. You know, if I drew a picture, everyone liked it. Someone would always say, well, man, you a genius. And then you end up feeding off of that. I think Hollywood and modern technology and modern entertainment, that's a better way to put it. I think that proves every day that we see when we turn on the TV that can be a trap. You know, what I basically want you to do is the same thing that I had to learn to do when I was thrown into a college classroom at 25 years old. And I had to teach art history, just like I talked about on my very first podcast episode, which is the very first Art of Genius episode, which is Start Somewhere. You go and check that out. I talk about how I started off as a college instructor at 25, teaching art history, and I had to sink or swim. And that's when I realized, in that baptism by fire moment, I realized how much of a genius I was. Not just because I was an artist, but the fact that I was able to adapt to different situations and stuff and make people believe what it was that I was saying. When they could have easily said, you know what, I don't like this class. This instructor is younger than me. This dude is the same age as me. What can I learn from him? But it had to be something about how I was presenting and what I was doing naturally. It's another thing about genius. It comes naturally. You know, whether you're a good salesperson, whether you're a good artist, whether you're a good singer, you're a good rapper, you're a good writer, you're a good videographer, you're a good photographer, you're a good athlete, There's some area that you are a genius and I want you to embrace it. No. Not only do I want you to embrace it, I want you to own it. I want you to master it. I want you to present yourself as such and be damn proud of it. All right? So, in closing, like I said, this was just the intro and things like that. I wanted you all to get to know kind of how this web series is going to be introduced. Today we're doing it like commentary, but it's going to be a lot of situations and stuff where, just like I would tell my college students and stuff in my class, there's going to be some situations where you're going to feel like you're being taught. There's going to be some situations where you're going to feel like you're being informed. Some days you may feel like you're in therapy. Some days you may feel like you're just watching a stand-up comedy routine. You never know. But just that in its essence, in its barest essence, in its black and white, grayscale, purest image form, is a form of genius. Not only is it genius, but it's an art to be able to do that. It's an art that I had to learn to embrace a long time ago. Now that I've embraced it, I want you all to enjoy it. Alright, so thank you for tuning in to The Art of Genius. Once again, this is William Woods. Look forward to seeing you all next episode.
The art of genius. 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 The art of